Stocks 23 here, and today we have the Urban EDC Supply Barley. This is a prototype, and this was designed by Devo Knives, but going to be sold by Urban EDC. And at the time that I'm doing this video, they have not announced it yet, but I've been told that it's going to be coming in the next week or so. So stay tuned, and I will leave a community post whenever I find out as well. I also found out that these were a custom slip that Lefty EDC got made by Northwoods Leatherworks Co. And they're not part of the knife, unfortunately. I don't know if there will be a slip or not. That's something that you'll have to wait and see. I don't know myself. So let's get some specs out of the way. You have a total length of 6.75 inches, blade length of 2.5 inches, and a grip area without that forward choil of 3.1 inches, and with that choil at 3.9 inches. Handle scale thickness is coming in at a very, very slim 0.31 inches. Closed width in the pocket is also slim from here to here of 1.15 inches. Blade stock thickness is also super thin at 0.087 inches, so that's super thin. And behind the edge thickness on this particular knife ranges around 15 to 16 thousandths behind the edge. All right, so let's take a close look at this. You have this nice sheep foot blade with just a little touch of belly there. This is going to be great for doing, fine tasks with that tip, doing drag type cuts, opening some packages, cutting some string. It's going to be a very strong blade shape. The blade steel on these is going to be M390, and they come with a nice belt satin finish on them, as you can see there. It feels like this is a flat grind on it. It would have been nice to see a hollow, but it comes down to a decently thin edge. You have dual long pulls on both sides of the blade to help you open the knife. You don't have to have that because you got a lot of blade you could pinch, but it's a nice added aesthetic, I think. You do have a full forward finger choil that fits my fingers nicely. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. No jimping, not needed. It's already a slip joint, so you shouldn't be putting a ton of pressure on this knife. Now, being this is a prototype, I did do some cutting with it, but I didn't go crazy, and I wasn't the first person to get it, so the edge wasn't, pristine. Did a little bit of stropping, and let's check it out. Being that this is a prototype, I don't know how many people had this knife before me, and it had a okay edge on it, but that geometry is going to still let it slice really, really well, even though it's not super sharp. You have thin blade stock and a fairly thin grind on it. That choke up position is comfortable, and you kind of need to keep your finger up there so you don't get caught up in the material you're cutting, but so far so good. Like I said, I'm not going to fault it on sharpness. Now we're mainly just testing ergos here and kind of seeing if it has bite to it. So I'm able to get some fine curls, and I'm wanting to see how that knife's going to feel once you start increasing pressure. And as you can see, I'm having to try to adjust my grip because it's a very thin scaled knife, not going to be the best to do this type of work, but that's perfectly fine. I think it's going to be a solid little lightweight thin carry. That sheep's foot blade is going to be great for doing these detailed drag cuts like this. It's definitely going to excel in that. You can do some cutting on a flat surface, but as you can see, I'm very close to my knuckles when even in that pinch grip doing those push cuts. So it's a lot harder to do, especially when whatever you're cutting's lower down. The tubing, it was enough belly to it to get that done. But because of that and because of the edge that it has, I decided not to do the rope on it. And like I said, it's a prototype, just trying to get a feel. And I'll tell you what, it still sliced really well for not having a super sharp edge on it. I can only imagine what it would be like with a fresh edge, and definitely would be a good cutter. Like I said before, though, I still wouldn't mind having a hollow grind on here to make it a super slicer. But as it sits, I think it's still performed perfectly fine. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that cutting footage. Now let's close it up and take a look at the action, I guess you could say, or the walk and talk. Like I said, you can pinch it, or you can use those long pulls for grip. But nice pull on it, flush in the closed position, as you can see, and flush in the open position. Nicely done. Now this pull, I would call it maybe 5.5, 6. I had to converse with my neighbor who is a slip joint aficionado, and he said around a 5 or so. And that's something that I talked with Lefty EDC, said that they will be dialing that in a little bit more, getting it a little bit stronger. So that's nice, just for extra little added safety there, and for the slip joint purists there. Even though this is a modern traditional, they wouldn't be that interested in it anyway. All right, let's close it up and take a look at the handle area. You have the titanium scales on this with that beautiful Seigaiha pattern on it. Very, very good looking. That's the first time I've ever handled a knife with that, and I think it looks stunning. You have the full bolster right here. You have T8 hardware throughout, nice and flush, and a nice and crisp hardware. Full length back spring, hidden lanyard post, very nicely done, so you don't have any extra holes on the knife. I think the form factor of the knife, it looks good in the open and closed position. They will be offering the knife in this particular pattern and plain titanium. The blade on this one is perfectly centered, but I think one of the protos wasn't. They could be working on all of them being perfectly centered. That's awesome to see. Now, the handle scales on this knife are super thin. Now, it's not a problem because, this is, going to be a slicey knife. So you can do your cut, put the knife up, and go about your business. This is not going to be something that's going to be put through strenuous, heavy use because, once again, it's a slip joint. You could still get a lot done with this, but, if you're going to use this as like a whittling knife or something like that, it's going to start to fatigue your hands and your forearms rather quickly because of how thin the scales are. I felt locked in, but once I started pushing lots of pressure into the wood, I definitely felt like I had to keep the knife from spinning in the hand. But once again, I don't see that as a negative because I see this as a slim and sleek EDC knife that's easy to carry, slip in your pocket and forget about it. It's a very classy looking knife, and I think they did a great job on it. Now, I want y'all to get, I went to talk to a buddy of mine that y'all might have seen on the channel before, and I let him check out the knife. Let's see what he had to say. All right, we're gonna get Copper Dice to check this out.
Let's see what we got here.
Look at that slip.
Nice slip, very nice slip.
I think it's from Northwood's Leather Co. maybe.
Very nice logo.
And I like how it's cut slanted. See how it's slanted cut on top of it?
I know you're a sucker for that blue stitching, huh?
I love it.
All right, here we go. What kind of leather is it?
I don't know.
It feels like quality.
But I know the maker, Northwood Leather Co. They do some good stuff.
Oh no!
So I'll kind of tell you what this is. Okay, that's that Seigaiha pattern. It's a Chinese, I think, pattern. Well, this is an Urban EDC exclusive, but it was designed by Kevin and from Devo Knives.
Can I open it up?
Yeah, go ahead. It's a thinner.
Nice.
It's got a choil too. You can choke up.
A very nice slip.
Now this is a prototype. I think he said he's going to make the pull on it a little bit stronger. Not much, but just a little bit. I thought it was pretty good, but
I think it's right on.
It's got a nice snap to it.
I mean, it ain't terribly tough, but it's better than the proper.
Oh yeah, the proper. That's a sloppy one. That one's crisp, and it's flush in all three positions. And overall, I like the slim form factor of it. That's something that I like. It's a little different. And I like how I can open it without a nail nick.
Oh yeah, it's got plenty of blade to pinch. What steel is coming in?
I think it's M390. I'm not certain.
Been seeing a lot of M390 used lately.
I think M390 will be the new D2.
Yeah, I know.
So overall,
we used to freak out to get M390 on something.
Oh yeah, well that's because it was like the end all be all at whenever. But that's just like 154 cm used to be the super steel in the 90s.
Very very smooth back here.
I think the OEM's re-out on that. I like how they put the little hidden lanyard thing if you want a lanyard
Yeah,
in the back. You like that Seigaiha pattern?
I do.
I think it's attractive. It's the first time I've ever seen a knife with it on it.
I do.
Or had a knife with it on it. So,
It's pretty sweet.
good size. I like the thinness, lightweight. And of course, if I don't know if they come with this, that's a big plus if they do.
Yeah, that is a big plus. I like how it's thin though.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that
That's
thick
a
leather.
perfect thickness to where it doesn't feel bulky in the
Right.
pocket.
You want it to form around
Yeah.
this and still feel slim.
I carry that all day today and did not notice I had it in my pocket at all.
Yeah, that is. That makes the whole little package. I tell you.
Yep. So he gets a thumbs up from
Get a
Copper
thumbs up
Dice.
from Copper Dice. You got. It's a tough market for
Oh, it
these right
definitely
now.
is.
They got a lot of competition.
And that's why they went with do it exclusively because
Right.
they were just testing the waters, you know.
right. But for minimum aesthetics, you know.
Yeah.
I like it slim.
Yeah. It's nothing crazy. It's just a nice, slim, lightweight slip joint.
Yeah. And decently thin.
Good blade shape. So yeah, I think you got a winner there.
Get a
Thank
thumbs
you.
up.
Now let's pop a quick weight on it. First off in grams, 68.9 grams and 2.43 ounces. So absolute featherweight. For some quick size comparisons, we have the Benchmade Proper and the Lion Steel Round Head. It's about the same exact overall length as the Proper, and it's a little bit longer than the Round Head. Lastly, we have the Jack Wolf Venom Jack and the Victorinox Pioneer X. It's about the same exact overall length as the Venom Jack, and it's a little bit longer than the Pioneer X. All right, now for my nitpicks and complaints. I don't really have much. Like I said, this is a prototype. I don't know if anything's going to be changed on it or not, but it would have been beautiful to see a deep hollow grind on this just to make it a super slicing machine because it's already a slim, sleek knife. That would definitely be nice. Other than that, they're fixing that pull to make it a little bit stronger. I think that's a good thing. And yeah, I think it's going to be a popular one that's going to sell out rather quickly. So if you're interested in this, definitely stay tuned. Keep an eye out on Urban EDC on Instagram and check their mailing list just so you know when these are going to drop. They do gear drops, and I'm sure it will be in one of their gear drops. They will probably announce them in the next week or so, and I'll try to notify y'all as soon as I find out that as well. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Pers.